Okay, today we have one rabbit, one fish, and a lot of other animals. And I'm not talking about a point and click adventure game set in the Zootopia universe. Neither is it a game adaptation of Monty Python's Holy Grail and with the killer rabbit. Would be awesome, by the way. No, today we take a look at Falcon City by Likely Games. I am Dan, and I think it's time to bunny hop into this review.
Frank's been brought in again.
Oh, all right. I go right away.
I'll wait for you in the observation room.
What the hell did Frank do this time? First of all, I should find his file. But where did I put it?
Wait, that
So,
Frank was brought
the
in.
story of the game is that you play as Kurt, a detective rabbit that of course can't get along with your boss. Hello, 90s action movies. If you did not already know, all of these characters are animals in the game.
Kurt.
While doing a routine interrogation of this cat that is booked for handling catnip, I know, it's funny, you get your story arc presented to you about a kidnapped girl.
Well, it was.
We agreed that you'd stop this catnip thing.
I know, but you just cannot understand. This thing is simply, it eats me up.
So you then get to follow the trail starting out in this alley where you get your first taste of the good old point and click adventure games and some challenges that you need to solve. As always, it's no fun spoiling the full story of the game, so let's talk about the gameplay.
This is it. Let's see what we can find here.
As any point and click adventure game, there is always the matter of having an inventory or not and how it should work.
Why would I do that?
The developer's approach is to leave items you already used to be still present in your inventory, so when you reach the sometimes inevitable point of getting stuck, you probably start trying to combine all items left and right. Perhaps a grayed out version of the item would be a simpler solution. There is always a balance of what items you can interact with to drive the dialogue and what items are there to drive the story forward, or hand you an item to use. The game has a pretty good balance of it, even if I manage to miss some items on the first time I visit some places. But perhaps
Maybe I
it's
can
more
find
about
something
me having to pay more attention. You can get hints if you are stuck if you open your journal, but they are luckily pretty generic, so you don't get much help. There is a lot of humor in this game, and some of the characters are really funny to just listen to when they are having their dialogues play out.
Our manager, not a private detective. The detective here is me. Oh, sorry, I have to take this. Hello? Hi, what's up? Sure, I get it.
So what would a good point and click adventure game be without its lovely puzzles? That is one of the biggest reasons I for one play them, and if you love puzzles as I do, drop a comment below.
No question.
And to give you some relief, these puzzles are not like, for instance, The Dig. So let's take a look of some of the ones you will have to solve. First up is a good old match torn papers into its rightful place. My son watched me solve this one and he thought I did a perfect job. I'm so glad he has not seen me struggle with others in this game and other games. The second one I will show you is a click and click until you understand the pattern. At least that is what I call it, since I can't find a better name for puzzles with no hint and you basically click until you solve it. There is one involving prime numbers, so I hope you like prime numbers and math. Let's talk a bit about the sound of the game and also the voice acting. The soundtrack is really good and it matches the feel of the noir type of game, if that makes any sense to you. When it comes to the voice acting, and I like games that have it, it is more clear that this is an indie game production, and bear with me while I explain what I mean. Voice acting is an art form by itself, especially if English is not your native language. I know that too, since English is not my first language. Some of the dialogue in-game is suffering a bit from the same thing I do, and that is to land the perfect pronunciation and tonality of a line. And don't get me wrong, the game has really good voice acting overall, and I bet in the upcoming games this will improve.
Greetings, I'm Detective Kurt Tracker.
What do you want?
So let's look at what you get after installing Falcon City. you get an ambitious game created by the small but talented indie game studio. It's not too long, so you can play it again if you want to know more about the different endings. The art style is clean and have a noir but still cute kind of cartoony look and feel. It has some fun little things like the ceiling fan that you can actually ask Jenny to turn off. The puzzles are on a decent level and won't make you have to spend hours upon hours clicking on everything in desperate hope of getting a hint of what to do. Sure, there are some places the game is a bit rough around the edges, but you can still play it and have a good time. I'm Dan, and it has been a pleasure showing you this game. I'll leave a link to the game's Steam page in the description below. And if you like my content, how about you drop a like or a subscribe? And until next time, stay awesome!